is it seems like my dad is going to be transitioning soon.
All right.
Spirit. So it seems like he's going to be transitioning to spirit soon, and I'm just trying to be there for him as best as I can.
Yeah.
And
well, what else do you need to do?
I keep on feeling like I need to do something else, but
such as?
Well, I've been, I feel like health-wise, I wish I could have done more for him because
do not wallow in regret.
Okay.
Otherwise, you are of no help. Remember that what helps the most is to radiate an energy and a vibration of a positive transition so that that energy infuses the area of his presence and allows him to take advantage of riding that wave and riding that energy more smoothly. The regret in that sense will put up resistance.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I've been having some interesting dreams lately, one of which I kind of associate with the idea you might have been hearing. There's been a lot of talk about 5G and like the new 5G towers.
Yes.
That are being put up. And one of my dreams, and I had, I saw these big towers like on every block, and they were like huge and black. And at the top of them, there was this big blue LED eye, and it was just like looking at everybody. It was kind of creepy.
Yes.
And I was, okay. And I was just wondering if you could tell us anything about, I know like 5G and if it has any like effects on our physical body that.
It depends.
Okay.
Depending on how it is tuned. If it is tuned properly, it will not necessarily have detrimental effects. But if it is slightly out of phase, it can, to some degree, affect cellular structure and the immunological system of your body. So they must be tuned precisely in a way that is not detrimental to the cellular structure or immune system of your bodies.
Okay, that's what I was kind of thinking. Now, as an individual, is there anything we can do, or is this something that whoever's putting these 5G up has to do?
There is always something you can do.
Okay.
Always.
Right.
Again, by allowing yourself to remain in a positive state, you can to some degree mitigate some of the effects of a poorly tuned system. But again, the idea is you can also interact with those individuals who may be more directly involved with the creation of the technology in order to explore what can be done and share information in a way that will allow you to feel more participatory in what's going on, and may even change the minds of some of the individuals working on the technology for how they can make sure that it is more precisely tuned to the biomagnetic energy and fields of physical humanity and biological forms on your planet so as not to be detrimental.
Okay, thank you. Also, I wanted to bring up this idea of a story. You might have heard of it, or story legend of the planet Venus. I've heard of it as a planet was once like an Earth that went through different phases of initiation and ascension. And, even the name or the planet Venus, she's referred to as like the morning star, and she's always shining very brightly. Yeah. And eventually I've heard that she's to become a sun, like it's like an evolutionary process of planets.
It is not meant in the sense of literal physicalness. You are talking about something that is an interdimensional concept.
Okay.
And a sun in one dimension is not necessarily a sun in your dimension.
Right.
It is the seed to some degree, the heart to some degree of what can be considered a sun in some realities, but it is not a literal description of what is going to happen to the planet in your physical reality.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to kind of get a feel on that because it popped into my head, and then I had a dream about it a couple nights ago. I noticed my dreams have been becoming more and more active lately. Right. Yeah.
This may be the result to some degree, again, of breaking down the barriers between one physical reality and parallel realities that will allow them to overlap and allow you to have a more lucid adventure on that realm.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right. And then I was wondering if you could talk about the Shalanaya at all and kind of where they are at with connecting with us and interacting with us in this timeline.
They are observing and participating in what is going on now as you all pass through what we are calling the eye of the needle and this transitional pivot point. And how you come out the other side, all of you, will determine the efficacy with which they can maybe continue to communicate and connect with many of you toward the idea of future contact, but also recognizing that some individuals will pass through the eye of the needle in a way where contact may actually be less probable. So they are watching and observing what is going on in this pivotal point as you all pass through what we call the eye of the needle.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Bashar. My love to you and the Esther.
Our unconditional love to you as well. Good day.
Good day.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
How are you, Bashar?
Perfect. And you?
Very good. It's nice to see you.
Thank you for the co-creation of the interaction. Please proceed however your imagination so desires.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you for visiting with us today, and I have a few questions for you.
Yes.
So I'll just get right to it. I have a question about that I see that's very prevalent right now within the spirituality communities of a lot of people believing in conspiracy theories that don't have a lot of rationality to them. They're seeking to find, and to be honest with you, from a basically self-soothing and a self-serving place, it seems to be things that they're focusing on that really don't help you vibrationally or help you to keep yourself calm about things. I'm speaking, of course, about things like 5G and Bill Gates taking over the planet and stuff like that.
Yes, we understand.
Why is there such a interest in so many people within those communities to find and seek information that is below the radar and say, this is truth, but everything that's kind of scientifically proven and just rational on so many levels in this time-space reality that we live in, why do they seek things that are on that level as their truth, or this has to be happening?
Well, first and foremost, you do realize that now and then there are such things as conspiracies on your planet, yes?
100% agree. Yeah.
All right.
100% agree.
So since that has been, shall we say, laid as a foundation of possibility, and since many people on your planet have been fed a diet of fear-based beliefs for so long, and because people feel disempowered, they will often see the idea of laying out a certain conspiracy theory as a way of gaining control over their world by either aligning with it or rebelling against it to give them some sense of their position in the world, some sense of control in their reality, which more often than not, they don't feel they have. So by exposing things that their mind can wrap itself around in a way that says, I have a complete understanding of what's really going on here, and I am either attaching to it or distancing myself from it, it gives them a sense of control that they don't ordinarily have in their lives because of all of the fear-based beliefs that they have been fed growing up on your planet.
Interesting. That's very fascinating.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was my next one? My next question, I had a question for you. I was thinking about this last night in bed. You're kind of like our genie in the bottle. You know, we can ask it. It's like,
please do not rub me 3 times.
I won't do that. I'll keep you comfortable. That made me laugh. That's pretty funny. So I say that because, you know, I'm like sitting in bed last night going, well, I had the opportunity to talk to basically a hybrid extraterrestrial in the future, and paraphrasing your
yes, so to speak.
And so to speak. And I wondered, is there a question you've always wanted someone to ask you and from our perspective that's never been asked?
No.
Okay. Well, that was easy.
We always allow for the synchronicity of what comes up to be what needs to be there. Remember that in that sense, we don't want.
That's a very good point. That all came full circle there pretty instantly.
Yes, we perfectly trust the timing of whatever it is that comes up. There are things we have always been curious about, but we investigate them on our own, or again, we allow synchronicity to provide the timing for such a subject to appear.
Right. I understand that. So I'll move on to a personal question for me.
Yes.
I've been involved as a journalist of sorts, a documentarian of the spiritual community. I've been blessed to be able to work with some people who are very well respected, very well followed. And as of a couple of years, I've been deeply involved in the community. And as of a couple of years ago, I kind of had, I wouldn't say a falling out. I don't know a better word to say it. It was kind of just an ending of the energy. I kind of saw things getting toxic in the communities, and it just did not. Anyway, things ended in many ways, and a lot of
transitioned.
Things transitioned. A lot of friendships ended and stuff. I personally had a pretty difficult time with it over time, trying to navigate this, because it's one thing when, you see, I got into this community early on for my own spiritual interest and involvement, and got into meditating. And
is that then what you take from it and what you will continue doing, having thus then served its purpose?
I feel that gets to my question right now. Over the past year or so, or a couple of years since all this has gone down, I have a real hard time connecting from a meditational standpoint. I used to meditate and connect really deeply, like soul of the universe, travel in the cosmos type meditations.
Yes.
These days, it's very hard for me to connect on that same level. I do make the efforts to do so, but I also see the whole community from a whole different perspective. I see that all this stuff works, obviously, but I don't, run around.
So why would you continue to assume that a technique that used to work for who you used to be would still work for who you are now?
That's a good point.
If you have changed, if you have absorbed what you needed to absorb from your experiences, then the idea is that you are a different person who will now do things in a different way that actually is more in alignment with who you truly are. So the question is, are you applying the ideas that you have learned more outwardly in the physical world, or simply insisting on using the same old permission slips that are no longer necessarily relevant for who you are?
Well, where I'm at these days, this is where I come out with it. I'm at a place where I'm, of course, I'm a very creative person. I'm a very artistic person. I, of course, delve myself into my arts and my creativity, because that is my deepest connection. So I guess that's my answer right there. So
can I then not say, is that not enough? Is that not your new meditation?
Yeah, that's very true. I understand what you're saying. I think on some level, I feel, you're bringing up some very good questions. I think on some level, I kind of miss that, being able to tap in that deeply and feel that release and that relief.
Oh, but you will, if you understand that the new way of doing things will also take you there, but it will be a different experience. You may be just as deep, but it won't necessarily feel exactly the same, because you're not the same person. So it will take you deeply, but it will take you deeply in a new way for the new person you are. You have to let go of the older definitions of what you think it's supposed to look like when it's working, and let it work in the new way that is representative of all that you have become.
I understand that. I mean, I play music. I've always played music. It's one of my, and I tap in very clearly there. And I guess you just made something that's very obvious, very clear. So I appreciate that.
Don't look at this as a wall. Look at it as an arrow pointing in a new direction. If what used to work doesn't work, that's your first clue that something else needs to work that's more representative of your true passion and your application of your passion in your world.
Okay.
You're transitioning into a new way of doing things as a new person. This is natural and normal and will continue to evolve in a variety of ways. You have to let go of the anchors that hold you to the past and assume that there are things now pulling you toward your future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I completely
Does that help?
agree. That helps greatly.
All right.
If I could ask one more thing, at least, with this event, with the current COVID-19 pandemic fear and everything that's going on the planet right now, years from now, 5 years from now, what will be coming of all of this? I do see Mother Nature trying to heal. I see it as a teaching mechanism greatly right now.
Yes,
I do see it as
that's one of the things you are learning, as we have said recently in the transmission called the Eye of the Needle. It's an opportunity to strip away all those things that are no longer relevant for the new realities that you prefer, so that when you go through the eye of the needle, having streamlined yourself down by letting go of bags that won't fit through that narrow passage, then on the other side, you have much more opportunity to accelerate yourself and allow the idea of experience of the reality that you prefer more and more and more every single day. So this is an opportunity to change yourself in ways that will make the new realities that you prefer to experience more available, more accessible to you on the other side of this passage.
Yes, I understand that. And I find it, I actually, something just popped into my head that I remember you saying years ago about even a lot of people who follow you and listen to the teachings that you give are always wondering when the extraterrestrials are going to show up, right? You know?
Yeah.
And
we have given you a general window for the beginnings and the continuation of open contact. But again, these things fluctuate a little bit depending upon what you do with the information that you have. So while the window in general is still somewhere between your years of 2025 to 2040, it will depend on what you do, as will then determine what you experience and how much of it you experience and how soon you experience it. For there is a lot of fluctuation still going on, a lot of decisions being made, a lot of choices still being made, and each and every one of those choices will determine where you fall within that window, if you fall within it at all.
Yeah, I get that. And I think it's funny, it's kind of ironic, because you had said years ago that, you know, one day when UFOs and the whole concept of extraterrestrials and stuff, one day when it's all revealed, it's not going to be like, oh, it's like this big thing. People are going to be like, oh yeah, well, it's kind of been that way. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, our Pentagon, our government literally confirmed and released the three videos and said, these are actual UFO craft. And there's so much stuff going on that I'm just like, this is actual confirmation from the government saying
yes, it will come in little, as you say, dribs and drabs in a variety of ways. So it is an indication of the beginning of those things. Nevertheless, it's still based on whatever vibrational frequency you choose to be, whatever belief systems you choose to align with. That will determine how much more or how much less of that information you become aware of, depending upon the reality that you choose to create.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I don't want to eat up any more of your time, but I appreciate greatly you speaking to me, and it is our passion and our pleasure. Again, we thank you for the co-creation of the interaction. Thank you, Bashar. You take care of yourself.
Of course, and you as well.
Thank you.